Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. If Cancer is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And if there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Cancer, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Let's grab two cards there. There's a Seven of Pentacles. Now, that is some very, very hard-working energy. All right, let's see what we've got going on. Let's put that into some context. There's the Wheel of Fortune. That was the second card that was coming out. We have a lot of hard-working cards and a lot of major arcana. This is kind of nuts right here. We've got 4 major arcana that are really embracing this hard-working energy that you have. So I really feel like whatever you're doing is divinely sanctioned. I think you're working very hard at something, and I really think your life's going to be changing through this. All right? I think that this is going to be really good. Let's do the path of the serpent now. We've got some air, some fire, and some water. Now, let's select the mystery card. We're going to use the Smith-Waite Tarot. And this is the card that we select randomly. We're not going to look at it until the very end. We're going to set it down. We'll put the alien right on top, and they can go hang out over there. Hopefully that card will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. All right. So let's look at this again. This is really cool. We have some earth. We've got some air, some fire, some water. All right, so pretty balanced elementally. Then we've got major. A lot of majors right here. First, I guess let's just start with the earth energy, because you are working very hard on something. You are doing your best to manifest your life, your reality. Okay. What is this exactly? Gosh, I don't know. I feel like it's something creative, but I feel like it's something that has also a very physical side to it. You know, it's something creative, but I think it's manifesting through business, through some kind of organized thing. I don't know if maybe you're starting a business. Maybe you are, maybe you're expressing your creativity through some medium that, requires a lot of physical activity. Maybe you're like sculpting or, something that is really, really physical. I feel like you've been working on it for a while. I feel like initially it was a lot of hard work and you weren't really sure of the results, right? Because the Seven of Pentacles, this is like we're doing it, not really seeing much result, The key word for this card is failure. But I don't think that's what's going on. I think this is the slowness with which we've been seeing the results up until now. I think now everything is really kind of being activated. I think you're hitting that point where you're just kind of blowing up. Because we have that Jupiter energy, the Wheel of Fortune. Right now, all of your work and the time, the blood, sweat, tears, all of your dedication, I think now is going to really start paying off. This Jupiter energy is expansiveness. This is now saying, well, look, you're not going to stop working. You're going to have even more work to do, because now you're scaling up. You're expanding, right? You're leveling up, you're breaking through. But it's going to be a larger picture now. Yeah. I think you're getting more and more comfortable in this role, in this life, in this work, all of this major arcana here, it feels like we didn't expect it to be this much of a success. Okay, Wheel of Fortune. We didn't think it was going to be this successful, right? It's kind of, it's going to blow your mind, I think, how much your life's going to be changing. We have the star energy in the background. I feel like this started maybe as a way for you to meditate. This started as a spiritual practice. This started as a way for you to connect with divinity, with your higher self, God, goddess, deity, guardian angel, spirit guides, ancestors. Right? But I feel like now it's just kind of, it's growing and it's expanding into something that you never expected, you know? It could be a business, it could be a community, it could be a group, could be you're starting a church, an order, a lodge, a temple. But it's not something you ever thought was in your wheelhouse, right? You never thought of yourself as the leader. You never thought of yourself as, well, maybe you've always been kind of introverted, you know? I'm getting this feeling like this work now and the success of it and how comfortable you're getting and how committed you are, and like the longer you do it, the more comfortable you get being yourself, you know? And I feel like now we're kind of becoming this star. And yes, maybe you're the star of the show, but I feel like this is you being comfortable with who you are, comfortable with your connection to your higher self, and now you're letting your real light kind of shine. Yeah. To me, this feels really amazing. This is maybe something that you've always been looking for. This is kind of like, this is you discovering your true identity. Yeah. And again, I think it started as something small, something that you were just doing, not necessarily as a hobby, but as like a spiritual practice, something private. Something that was for you to connect with your spirituality. But now it seems like it's something that you're sharing, that you're spreading. This Jupiter energy says, hey, why keep this to yourself? Let's spread the good word. You know, let's expand this to everyone. Yeah, it's going to be a lot more work, but maybe this is what you're meant to do with your life. Maybe this is right exactly where you fit, you know. I think this is a significant moment, because this may be the moment where you realize that this is where you belong. Let's look in the immediate future at that Lover's energy. I think right now we're realizing the potential that this thing has to expand, right? With the Jupiter energy, Wheel of Fortune, we're thinking, this could be really something, you know, this could be really big. But we still have this choice to make with the Lover's energy. Are we going to say yes and commit ourselves to doing this work and scaling up, leveling up, expanding? Or are we going to say no? Right? So it's kind of like, maybe in our mind, maybe this is just kind of how it's being perceived, right? How we're kind of splitting up our choices. I don't think this is actually a true dichotomy. But let's look, the Lover's energy. We could say, yeah, if I want to embrace the Wheel of Fortune, then I'm going to have to do even more work. I'm going to have to like be a business person as well as the creative force behind this. So there's a lot more work to do, right? We're going to go up here into the Prince of Pentacles, right? And this is what it wouldn't take. If you want this, then you're going to have way more work to do, right? If we say no, maybe we're going down here to the Hanged Man. Maybe the Hanged Man is sacrificing success for the sake of one's spirituality. And that's why I say that this feels like kind of a false dichotomy, because I don't think that Spirit would ever require us to sacrifice our earthly success, under the threat of then losing that spiritual connection, right? I think that you are this star, you are this spirit and this connection. And I think that what we need to do is blend these two together. We need to really, all of this energy here is one. The path of the dove is not not necessarily a path at all. It's more of a moment in time. And all of these cards are together in this moment in time, right? Let's put the star on top, maybe. That would be even better. This is the path of the dove, right? What we do is we unpack it. We say, okay, well, that's kind of what it looks like if we unfolded this path. Well, this doesn't mean that it's linear necessarily. It doesn't mean that these two are really one's up, one's down. It doesn't mean that they're really in different places. No, because all of these energies are together. Right? It's one moment. And I think it's the moment right now where we do have to decide if we're going to continue with this. We have to kind of make a decision. And I know it might feel like we have to decide between these two. No, wait, was it those two? No, it was these two. We might have to decide between these two. Do we have to choose work and earthly success, or spirituality, our practices, our connection, our souls almost, right? It's kind of that age-old thing. Do you have to sacrifice your soul in order to succeed in business or in your earthly life? I think that this kind of thinking is dated. I think this is ancient thinking. I don't think that we have to choose. I don't think that's what the choice is. I don't think we have to choose between these two things. I think we have to choose to unite them, to make our spirituality part of all of our practices, no matter how mundane, business or not, whether you choose to pursue this kind of work or whatever it is exactly. If you choose to pursue this or not, I think what we have to choose is to unite our physical earthly world with our spirituality. And this hanged man, this water energy, this is the old eon, this is the old way of thinking, that we have to sacrifice ourselves. We have to sacrifice everything in order to be spiritual, to receive enlightenment, to remain connected with divinity. We have to sacrifice everything else. Well, I don't believe that. And I'm trying not to put any of my personal bias in here. It could very well feel that way to you, that we have to choose between these two. Okay? But there's something for you to consider. This is all just here. This is just energy on the table for you to think about. Yeah. But I think either way, there is a choice that we need to make. There is kind of a decision about how to move forward. Okay. And it really, I think, is how we're choosing to utilize this moment, this great opportunity, right? If we're going to embrace this life-changing thing, or if we're going to choose to say no thank you. And that's totally fine too. But let's look at the path of the serpent now and see what the result of some of this choice would be. Let's say if we chose to go with this opportunity, again, it's to put whatever kind of talent or connection, whatever this creative essence is, to put that into our physical work and maybe build a business, build a community, build a life around that kind of, It doesn't have to be for money. It doesn't have to be a financial thing, if we're not into that. But the Jupiter energy is sometimes financial. This is saying you're going to have really good fortune with this work that you're doing, should you choose to continue doing it. Obviously, things are not happening to you without your consent, right? But Jupiter is saying you can have it if you want it. It's here. There are some caveats. We're going to look at those caveats now. Mainly in the form of the fire energy, I think. But the first one that we see is the Four of Cups. Now, this is kind of a general energy. I think this is kind of the position from which we have to then begin the rest of our work. Okay? And this, interestingly, this card is ruled by the moon in Cancer. So I feel like this is the ideal state for Cancer, right? This is emotional safety, emotional security, stability, right? This is us being at home, right? This is us feeling okay. And this is it's very important to feel okay. Yeah. Because with the energy on the path of the dove, now I'm even hesitating to call it a path, on the dove here, all of this that's going on kind of takes us out of this comfort. You know, we have to kind of go outside the home a little bit, you know. And we like to be at our home base. I think it is in your home, in your room, in your safe place, maybe your office, whatever it is. Sometimes for me it's in the car. That's my kind of comfort place. Even though our car is very old and very loud. But this is where we feel most comfortable. This is where we feel like we can breathe, we can think, we can contemplate, right? And so it's from this point that we kind of make decisions. So we kind of have to get away from all that, because this is exciting. This is like kind of almost verging on being scary, because this is good, right? Life is changing. That's enough to cause some anxiety, and we see anxiety in the fire energy with the Five of Wands. So we have to kind of retreat and regroup at our safe energy place, wherever it is, you know. And then we can make that decision. We can choose our way forward. Again, I don't think it's a choice as in we've got to choose left or right, up or down. No, we're either choosing to continue on this path or we're choosing not to. Either way is totally fine. Yeah. But I would like for us to do it from this position of safety, stability, security, calmness, from your place of comfort, so that you're making a decision based on, you know, that calm kind of baseline state. You're not making a decision when you're already agitated or excited or nervous or, you know. Let's get back to this headquarters and make our decision from there. You know, where we really have time to think about it and not be pressured. Yeah. Because our decision is going to really call for some bravery. If we choose to do this, let's say we go forward with this, there's a lot of new adventures. All right, this Princess of Wands, it's in the position of our environment. A lot of new territory for us. A lot of getting outside the comfort zone. This figure is kind of dancing with that tiger. And to me, this is being out in the fire. This is being outside, out in the open. There are new dangers out here, new experiences, new anxieties, new feelings. Right? And this is kind of... it's going to take some effort, you know. It's going to take some effort. It's going to cause some anxiety. It's going to cause us to have to allow our true nature to come out, allow this star energy to be expressed so that we can handle all of this newness, all of this potential anxiety, all of the struggles, not only the struggles with what we're doing in the external world, the problems, the ups and downs, and the finding solutions to issues, but the internal struggles, those internal roadblocks where it's just like, I don't want to get out of bed today. I don't want to go out and do this. I want to stay home. Battling all of these kinds of things that just really, all we want to do is stay in this Four of Cups. You know, this is where we feel most comfortable, but we're challenging ourselves, we're pushing ourselves. So I think the fire energy here is really, really important, and this might be the biggest factor that's going to determine whether or not you go ahead with this thing. You know? Just the fact that we're going to be out here in the world now, and we're going to have to do these things that make us feel uncomfortable. We're going to have to be in social situations. We're going to have to talk to new people or network. We're going to have to, travel perhaps, or just, do these things that take us outside of this home-based comfort zone. And ultimately what we don't want, the Five of Wands, that's in the position of what we don't want, see? We don't want anxiety. We don't want to fight. We don't want to struggle. We don't want to upset this Four of Cups. I like shaking the cards like it's an iPhone. We don't want to upset this Four of Cups with this Five of Wands, but that might be part of this. It's part of the, it's part of the conditions here of this Jupiter energy, of this Wheel of Fortune. You can have this. It's going to be some fire energy there, but you can do it. You can go this route. Now the final card is interesting. It's a Two of Swords. It's up here. Two of Swords, to me, it's kind of close with what's going on here with this Lover's energy. It's kind of saying, though, however, let's not choose rationally. Let's not try to weigh the pros and cons, because I'll tell you, Cancer, I'm a Cancer myself, right? If we left it up to our mind, our intellect, we'll convince ourselves of whatever we need to, And if you feel Four of Cups, you feel comfortable here, trust me, we can find a way to make this the best option. The Two of Swords is saying, look, if you make a pros and cons list, it's inherently going to be biased. And what you're biased towards, Four of Cups, that's going to be your conclusion, right? We are manipulating the data to get the result we want. So we can't do that. So what else should we do? I think really what this is saying is that we need to stop debating, stop trying to reason with ourselves and find the most logical solution, because we're gonna bias it, right? We need to tap into our star energy, to our spirit. We need to do what we feel is right for us, regardless of the anxiety and the danger and the worry and the getting out of our comfort zone. We need to do what is right for our identity, for our soul and spirit, for our connection, our true self. Right? The true self that is beyond the bias, really, right? And this is not an easy thing to do. But I feel like you have some experience with this already. You already kind of know how to tap in to this part of yourself, to this spiritual connection. So let's just use that to at least realize that, okay, I'm making decisions just based on my fear and trepidation. I'm making decision based on my personal bias to remain Four of Cups. But really, what is good for my soul, what is necessary for my growth and my evolution and my life and my future, well, let's find out. Okay. Let's also find out about this mystery card. Been hiding over here with our alien friend. Now, we're still trying to come up with a name for our alien. We've got Mork is a contender, Bowie is a contender, and I kind of like the name Simon for the alien. But keep the suggestions coming. If you have an idea, put it in the comments. Eventually, we'll narrow it down to 2 or 3 or 4. We'll maybe, as a community, we can settle on a final name, maybe 2 or 3 names, right? It can have more than one name. A lot of us have more than one name, so I think the alien can do that too. He's trying to be part of the culture, But the mystery card, I don't want to put my personal bias in this, so I don't want to speculate on what this is going to be or what it should be or could be. It really could be anything. So I think we just take a look at it and see how it might fit. All right. Well, we've got a Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands, it doesn't help us. It doesn't give us the decision. It doesn't tell us what's going to happen. It maybe tells us what needs to happen or how it could happen. The Three of Wands is us getting outside of this bias, right? It is finding that third option. So we had the Two of Swords, right? And we don't want the two. We don't want to have to choose yes or no, right? Using our logic, because we're gonna corrupt the data, right? It's just how we roll. So the Three of Wands is saying, look, you have to use that higher perception, that spiritual sense, that spiritual connection. You have to use your star to make the decision. And that, I think, is what we call virtue. That is using your true moral compass, right? Not morals in the sense of what is collectively agreed upon as going to be the best or the most polite course of action, because, as we know, we can bias our data. Okay, so this is using that higher kind of virtue that that knows who you are, that you've tapped into your true identity, that true self, right? And we can make decisions based on that will, not on our mental, emotional, our personality biases, but on that true spiritual path that we're on. And maybe you're not a spiritual person. That's okay. What does that even mean, right? The point is, you know your identity. You know, if you look deep enough, what the right path is for you. And there are a lot of these other thoughts and feelings that are going to try to dissuade you from following that path, right? You know, it's like, I know that I need to exercise. I know that I need to, eat right, eat healthy. But I have these personal biases that say, well, you shouldn't really, you shouldn't go out and exercise now. It's just too hot out there. You're going to have a heat stroke. There's always going to be something to convince us. We're going to find the data that we want to enable us to make the decision that part of us wants to make, right? I know that's kind of confusing. You understand what I mean, right? Because we're simpatico. So I think that this is really, it's a good confirmation. It doesn't make the decision for us, and that's the point. It's not going to make the decision for us. There's nothing here that is really telling you what you should or should not do, but we're just unfolding the energy in your life. It's just like all of these cards were wrapped up into one snapshot, really, And this is kind of what we have to deal with. And I know that you're going to make the decision that's best for you. And my decision right now is to do the extended reading. If you would like to stick around for that, just click up there. That'll give you access to every extended reading, not just for Cancer, but for all signs. I do encourage you to cross-watch and to check your other placements. Okay. I want to thank you for taking this journey with me. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.